Welcome to a new deep dive.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at a collection of short stories today
Okay.
that really kind of blur the line between just normal life and creative writing.
Right. Yeah, that's St. James Infirmary, right?
That's it, St. James Infirmary by Steven Meloan.
Yeah.
And you never really know where the truth ends and the
Yes.
fiction begins.
Yeah.
And especially when you think about the author's background.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this guy went from writing software
Wow.
to being a street musician all over Europe.
That's quite a
Big change, right?
Yeah, it is a big change.
So how do you think that journey impacted his writing style?
Well, I mean, there's a sharpness to it.
Okay.
You know, you would expect that from a software programmer,
Yeah.
but also a certain looseness, like from a street performer.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's kind of a cool combination.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
So this collection mainly focuses on California from
Okay.
the 60s to the 80s. Do you think there's something about that specific era that lends itself to short stories?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, there's just so much happening back then,
Right.
socially, politically, you know.
Yeah.
The norms were shifting. It was kind of a crazy time,
Right.
full of hope and disillusionment at the same time.
Yeah, and he doesn't shy away from some of the darkness of that era either. There's some surreal stuff, even macabre stuff
Yeah, definitely.
that's woven into these seemingly ordinary settings.
Right.
And even the title itself, St. James Infirmary.
Yeah,
I mean, that's from that old blues song
that's right.
about loss and mortality.
Yeah,
So I'm sensing a kind of a melancholic vibe to these stories,
for sure.
almost a haunting.
Like even in like all the sunshine and palm trees, there's something else going on underneath.
Yeah. Okay, so are you ready to jump into our first story?
Let's do it.
Googies. This one is a wild ride. It's a
Right.
family road trip gone hilariously wrong. Have you ever had one of those vacations where like everything that could go wrong does?
Oh yeah,
This is one of those.
for sure.
So he starts by setting the scene.
Okay.
Picture a young Steven and his family crammed into this 60s Mercury,
Oh wow.
one of those massive land yachts,
Yeah.
driving across the scorching Mojave Desert
At night, no less. Right.
at night.
And the car's overheating.
And the car's overheating.
Yeah, because of a bad AC unit or something.
It was some kind of aftermarket AC unit.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't working properly.
Yeah.
And I could just feel the tension, the sweat dripping down their faces.
Yeah, it's like palpable, you know.
Yeah. And so the father is out there wrestling with this boiling radiator
Gosh.
in the middle of nowhere.
Jeez.
And Meloan describes him howling into the night like a wounded animal.
Really?
And the mom, ever resourceful,
Of course.
tries to soothe his burns with
What, aloe or something?
Vicks Vapor Rub.
What?
Vicks Vapor Rub.
Really?
That's all she had.
Oh my God.
But it's such a classic mom move, isn't it?
Totally.
Okay, so they finally reach L.A.
Okay.
And, the young Steven's mind, this is like this gleaming, magical place,
Okay,
right?
of course, Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
But their first impression of downtown L.A. at night is less than stellar.
I bet.
His brother even whispers, "It's not very nice here, is it? Not like Indiana."
I'm a culture shock.
Total culture shock.
Oh, wow.
But they're kids, so of course they're hungry.
Right.
And that's when they stumble upon this neon-lit diner
Okay.
called Googies.
Gookies. All right.
Yeah, and he describes it like a space station
Oh.
with this unearthly brightness.
Oh, wow.
And inside you have these figures just hunched over coffee and pie.
Okay.
And it's this late night kind of surreal atmosphere.
Right.
Well, Mom is having none of it.
Oh, no.
She declares, "I'm not taking the children in there. It's full of bums."
Oh, jeez.
And the father, just exhausted at this point, probably still smarting from that radiator incident,
Yeah.
just replies, "If they get hungry enough, they'll get used to it."
Classic dad.
Classic dad.
Yeah.
So the kids get their diner fix, and they check into the Cloud Motel.
The Cloud Motel, that doesn't sound promising.
Not exactly the Ritz.
No, I wouldn't think so.
So the next morning, they do the whole L.A. sightseeing thing.
Okay.
You can imagine young Steven just wide-eyed, taking in the Hollywood sign, the beaches,
All the glitz and glam.
all the glitz and glam.
Yeah.
But the real punchline comes when they return to their motel room.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Mom's clothes are inexplicably stuffed in a trash can outside their door.
What?
It's like a scene straight out of a screwball comedy.
Really?
But there's also this hint of danger, like maybe L.A. isn't as innocent as young Steven imagined.
Right.
So they open the door to their room, and there are 3 men in their underwear playing cards, cigars in hand,
What?
and a lone woman lounging in lingerie.
Oh my goodness.
Talk about an unexpected turn of events.
Yeah.
Dad completely loses it.
What'd he do?
He yells, "What the hell are you doing in my room?"
Oh boy.
And one of the guys fires back the exact same question.
Wow.
I could only imagine the look on his face.
I know, right?
So instead of backing down, he empties that trash can full of his wife's clothes
Oh no.
into the trunk, marches to the office, and wait for it.
What?
Drop kicks the plastic trash can clear across the lobby.
No way.
I am picturing that right now.
That's amazing.
It's like he's saying, "Okay, LA, you want to play rough game on."
That's awesome.
So what happens?
What happened?
They get a free upgrade to a bigger room.
No kidding.
The story ends with the father suggesting they all go for a swim in their upgraded digs,
Oh, wow.
uttering these unforgettable words, "Welcome to LA."
That's great.
Well, it's like a baptism by fire.
Uh-huh.
It's this hilarious initiation into the wild world of 1960s Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you wonder if that experience shaped young Steven's worldview, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's such a great story.
it really is.
Just that whole family dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, try and navigate this crazy situation. So relatable.
It is. But let's shift gears a little bit here.
Okay.
You remember Smell-O-Vision,
Oh, yeah.
that crazy attempt to bring smells into the movie theater.
I mean, they tried.
They tried.
Didn't really work out, though, did it?
Not really.
I don't know why.
So in Smell-O-Vision, Meloan takes us back to his childhood,
Okay.
back when this whole sensory overload at the movies was like the new thing.
Yeah.
So picture this, these giant metal tubes
Oh, wow.
mounted to the back of every seat,
Okay.
ready to pump out all these smells.
Like, what kind of smells?
Like roses, cigarettes, even gun smoke.
Gunsmoke, really?
Yeah, all synchronized to the action on screen.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What could go wrong, right?
Well, for young Steven, this grand experiment
Uh-huh.
turns into a personal disaster.
Oh, no!
So he shows up at the theater, having skipped dinner,
Okay.
and decides to scarf down a chili dog and fries right before the movie starts.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. And,
What happens?
well, you can probably guess what happens next.
Oh, no, I think I could, yeah.
His stomach decides to stage a revolt
Oh, jeez.
during this really noisy scene in the movie.
Okay.
And he decides to take advantage of the cover noise.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's pulled off this ultimate stealth move, right?
Right.
But then the movie cuts to this indoor scene.
Uh-oh.
Gangsters plotting a revenge hit
Okay.
in a smoky hotel room.
Oh, no.
And the timing couldn't be worse.
Yeah, I bet.
His contribution to the atmosphere
Oh, jeez.
starts wafting through the theater.
Oh, no.
People are shifting in their seats, whispering in disgust.
Oh, my God.
One woman says, "Why never?"
Really?
And this man, convinced that this is part of the Smell-O-Vision experience,
Right.
complains, "Really, they're actually doing that?"
I love it.
It's this perfect blend of comedy and cringe.
Yeah.
And you can practically hear Meloan chuckling as he tells the story.
Right.
So the audience is horrified,
Right.
but young Steven's trying not to laugh.
Yeah, of course.
And here's the best part. As they're leaving the theater, the father leans in and whispers, "Was that you?"
Oh, no.
and gives his son a high five.
I love that.
It speaks volumes, right?
It does.
It's his shared sense of humor.
Uh-huh.
Maybe even a little bit of rebellion against all the technology.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes you wonder, did young Steven's
Contribution.
play a role in the demise of Smell-O-Vision?
Yeah, maybe.
Probably not.
Probably not. But it's funny to think about.
It is. It's a funny thought.
Yeah.
Speaking of unexpected consequences,
Okay.
the Swan, this story really dives into the complexities of human connection.
All right.
Have you ever met someone who felt both fated and impossible at the same time?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
You know, that push and pull, the yearning
Mhm.
for something that might just be out of reach?
Right.
So he introduces us to Teresa.
Okay.
She's a 42-year-old woman who's feeling a little bit lost, maybe even lonely.
Right.
She's doing laundry on a Saturday night, which already tells you something
It does.
about her social life. And that's when she meets this eccentric physicist named Al.
Ow. Okay.
He's not exactly Prince Charming. Meloan describes him as short squat,
Huh?
wearing this Sherlock Holmes-style knit cap.
Really?
But there's something about him
Okay.
that draws Teresa in.
What is it?
He's got this almost childlike energy.
Okay.
And there's this certain poetry to his words, especially when he talks about music.
Oh, interesting.
So it turns out he's looking for a composer
Okay.
to collaborate on this project
All right.
about the effects of Baroque music on the nervous system.
Oh, wow.
Teresa's a former composition major,
So she's interested.
immediately intrigued.
Yeah.
So as they talk, Al starts revealing his past,
Okay.
and it's pretty unusual.
How so?
He claims he was once a foreign ambassador to Indonesia,
Wow.
but he suffered this serious head injury after falling out of a truck.
Oh my gosh.
So we went into a coma, and when he woke up,
Yeah.
his IQ had skyrocketed.
Really?
But he was also, as he puts it, kind of crazy.
So he's a genius, but a little bit off.
Yeah, kind of a wild story, right?
It is, yeah.
You're not sure whether to believe him or not.
Right.
But Teresa is drawn to his gentle and wise green eyes.
Okay. So there's a connection there.
There's definitely a spark,
All right.
but their relationship is a roller coaster.
Oh boy.
Al is full of stipulations and quirks.
Like what?
He's always late.
Okay.
He carries around bags of specially shaped ice cubes.
Ice cubes, really?
Yeah, because of this perpetual thirst from his injury.
Oh, wow.
He even refuses to pay for dessert one time, claiming they wouldn't serve him.
Like it was some kind of sign.
Like it's some kind of cosmic sign.
Oh, wow.
It's almost like he's sabotaging the connection.
Right, pushing her away and pulling her in.
Yeah, pushing her away while simultaneously drawing her in
Yeah.
with his intellect and this unconventional charm.
Right.
And then there were Teresa's dreams.
Okay.
She starts having these vivid dreams of flying over emerald green fields.
Oh, wow.
And a voice tells her, he will come to you.
He will come to you.
Interesting.
It's like their connection is transcending the physical world,
Right.
venturing into this shared dreamscape
Right.
where logic and reality are suspended.
Okay.
But back in the real world,
Mm,
their relationship is still a mess.
right.
And then Al introduces her to Gertrude.
Gertrude, okay.
Gertrude the Swan.
Gertrude the Swan.
Al is on this crusade
Okay.
to save Gertrude
Save Gertrude from what?
from being moved to the zoo.
Oh, to the zoo. Wow.
Yeah, she lives in the park near his home.
Okay.
And he describes her as incredibly intelligent,
Oh.
almost human
Wow.
in her interactions.
Really?
But there's a problem.
What's the problem?
Gertrude lacks this normal fear of other animals.
Okay.
So she's been attacked by dogs.
Oh, no.
And that's why the authorities want to relocate her.
I see.
It's a story that really touches Teresa.
Yeah.
She finds herself even more empathetic towards Al,
Okay.
despite all his eccentricities.
Yeah.
So she helps him distribute flyers.
Even goes with him to a Tibet exhibit,
Oh, wow.
which in true Al fashion doesn't go quite as planned.
Oh, I bet.
He forgets to shave.
Okay.
Complains about his ice cubes melting.
The special ice
The
cubes.
special ice cubes.
Wow.
Insists on buying new Chinese ballet slippers
What?
because one of his old ones falls apart,
Okay.
and then refuses to actually enter the exhibit,
Oh.
claiming it's not any good.
Oh, Al.
Classic.
Ugh.
So as they drive home, she finally explodes.
Oh, boy.
She asks him, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
You know, what we could be.
Right.
And Al's response is heartbreaking.
What does he say?
He says, you know that Swan has been more loving and understanding to me than any woman ever has.
Wow.
It's a statement that cuts deep right.
It does.
It reveals his emotional guardedness, maybe even a fear of intimacy.
Right. He connects more easily with Gertrude, who
Yeah.
can't judge him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Teresa, instead of walking away,
Yeah.
keeps getting pulled back into his orbit.
Yeah. Oh, no.
He starts calling her for advice about other women he's dating.
What?
And she goes along with it,
Oh, Teresa.
maybe hoping it's some way of winning him back.
Right.
It's a fascinating dynamic, isn't it?
It is.
Teresa becomes a confidant
Uh-huh.
to the man who seems incapable of reciprocating her feelings.
Right.
She even places a singles ad online,
Really?
thinking she'll use it to gauge Al's reaction,
Oh, to make him jealous?
hoping to make him jealous.
Okay.
But Al just readily agrees to help her screen the replies.
Oh.
He even has her email him a photo
No.
of one of the respondents.
Oh, he's really involved.
It's like he's playing a role in shaping her romantic life,
Yeah.
but always keeping her at arm's length.
Right.
And then in this moment of supposed clarity,
Oh, okay.
he tells Teresa, I'm only doing all this for your own good.
For your own good. What does that even mean?
Right. Is he trying to protect her?
Right.
Or is it all about control?
Yeah. Who knows?
So Teresa starts going on dates with these men from her ad.
Okay.
But Al always seems to pick the worst ones.
Oh, no.
Almost like he's subconsciously trying to
Sabotage it.
ensure she'll come back to him
Right.
for comfort and advice.
Yeah.
And then comes the news that Gertrude had been taken away.
Oh, no.
Al is devastated,
Oh, I bet.
calling Teresa in tears.
Poor Gertrude.
but she's distracted by her own budding romance with Bob.
Bob, okay.
This lawyer from Marin.
Right.
Bob represents this more conventional, stable alternative to Al.
Okay.
He's kind of successful,
Yeah.
seems genuinely interested in Teresa.
Right.
But Al's neediness intensifies.
Ah,
He calls constantly,
really?
even interrupts her conversations with Bob.
Oh, geez.
So she finally snaps and tells him, "Give me room to breathe."
Good for her.
And Al's response is brutal.
What does he say?
"Don't flatter yourself, I'm not interested in you.
Oh, wow.
I told you I'm just trying to help you.
Ouch.
Is this how you thank me?"
Classic manipulation,
Yeah.
making her feel guilty
Doing
for
on it.
trying to be happy.
So Teresa, exhausted by his emotional games,
Right.
starts spending more time with Bob.
Okay.
He even mentions them living together.
Really?
But Al's calls don't stop.
Oh,
He
no.
leaves these long, rambling messages on her machine,
Oh, wow.
finally breaking down and admitting he misses her,
Really?
even more than Gertrude.
Wow, it's a little too late for that.
It is way too late.
Yeah.
So Teresa, realizing the extent of his hold on her,
Uh-huh.
decides to cut him off completely.
Nice.
She screams into the phone, "You can't."
Wow.
And then the calls stop.
Okay.
It's this powerful moment of liberation, this decision to choose her own well-being
Right.
over this toxic, one-sided connection.
Yeah.
But life has a way of throwing curveballs, right?
It does.
Teresa's relationship with Bob starts to falter. He becomes consumed by this demanding legal case.
Okay.
Tells her she needs to come down to earth,
Down to earth.
that he's tired of her stupid dreams.
Oh, that's harsh.
That's a harsh reality.
That's it.
Even seemingly stable, normal relationships can fall apart.
That's true.
So Teresa ends up back in her apartment alone,
Yeah.
heartbroken.
Poor Teresa.
And that's when she sees this newspaper article that changes everything.
What does it say?
It announces that Gertrude has been returned to her area friends.
Oh, wow. Gertrude's back.
It's a glimmer of hope,
Right.
a symbol of resilience,
Yeah.
maybe even a second chance.
Yeah.
Teresa immediately tries to call Al,
Yeah.
but the number's disconnected.
Yeah.
He's vanished.
So she's lost him again.
It's such a poignant ending.
It is.
You're left with this mix of sadness
Yeah.
and a lingering sense of wonder.
Right.
What happened to Al?
Right. What happened to Al?
Did he find peace? Maybe with Gertrude by his side?
Yeah, maybe.
It's a testament to Meloan's skill as a writer that he leaves you pondering these questions long after you've finished the story.
Right. He doesn't give you easy answers.
You got
He just leaves you with that space to think about love, lost connection.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
It is.
So what's next?
Okay, let's take a quick trip across the globe.
Okay, where are we going?
African Moon. This is a much shorter piece,
Okay.
but it packs a powerful punch.
Right.
It takes place on July 20, 1969,
Okay.
the day of the Apollo 11 moon landing.
Wow, what a day.
One of those moments that felt like the whole world was watching,
Holding its breath.
holding its breath.
Yeah.
So we have this group of Peace Corps volunteers
Okay.
gathered at the outskirts of this African village.
Right.
Their shortwave radio crackling with news of this historic event.
Wow. I can just imagine it.
They're glued to the broadcast, staring up at the moon in amazement.
Yeah.
And the villagers used to. The volunteers' often strange activities
Right.
are nonetheless curious about this sudden fascination with the night sky.
Yeah, of course.
So they approach the volunteers and ask, "Is everything all right?"
Is everything all right?
And one of the volunteers replies, "Everything is fine. Amazing, in fact.
Amazing, in fact.
American astronauts have landed on the moon. They'll soon be walking on the surface."
Wow.
The villagers are skeptical.
Okay.
One asks, "How long does it take to get to the moon?"
How long does it take to get to the moon? Good question.
Right.
Wow.
3 days, one of the volunteers proclaims.
3 days.
They just landed. We've been listening to their transmissions.
Wow.
But the live villager shakes his head in disbelief.
Okay.
3 days, he says.
2 days.
No, it takes 3 days to get to the Montubo, not to the moon.
Montubo, not to the moon.
Now, our villagers agree.
Yes, okay.
Their expressions are this mix of confusion and amusement.
Right.
It's one of those moments
Yeah.
where you realize these vast differences in cultural understanding,
Right.
how something so monumental
Yeah.
to one group
Yeah.
can be completely unfathomable to another.
Right.
So one of the volunteers, recognizing this gulf,
Yeah.
simply says, "That's right.
Yeah.
You are correct. It does."
You are correct. It does.
Yeah. It is this beautiful moment of humility.
It is.
The volunteers, instead of trying to explain something,
Yeah.
that's beyond the villager's frame of reference.
Right.
choose to acknowledge the validity of their perspective.
Yeah.
So the story ends with both groups standing side by side,
Okay.
listening to the radio, their gazes shifting from one another to the moon,
Wow.
which now seems both familiar and strangely alien.
Yeah.
It's this powerful image
It is.
that captures the shared wonder
Mm-hmm.
of human experience,
Right.
even amidst vast differences in cultural understanding.
Yeah, it makes you think about how we all interpret events
Right.
through our own unique lenses.
Shaped by our experiences and the stories we've been told.
The stories we've been told, exactly.
Speaking of stories,
Okay.
let's talk about Canyon Cottage.
Canyon Cottage, all right.
It's this bittersweet tale
Okay.
of missed connections and what might have been,
Oh, I love those.
with a surprising twist at the end.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Have you ever looked back on a relationship
Uh-huh.
and wondered what might have happened
Oh, yeah, all the time.
if things had played out differently?
Yeah, those what-if moments,
Oh,
they
yeah.
can really linger.
They do, and Meloan captures that feeling perfectly in this story.
Okay.
He starts by recounting a relationship from his college years.
All right.
He reconnects online
Okay.
with this woman who was his English Lit TA back in the day.
His TA, wow, okay.
He was on the 6-year plan.
The 6-year plan.
Maybe few of our listeners can relate to that.
I'm sure.
And she wasn't that much older than him.
Okay.
He remembers her as this unconventional, almost bohemian figure.
Like what?
No bra,
Okay.
unshaven armpits,
All right.
a mysterious knowing smile.
Huh. Interesting.
And get this, she had bedroom eyes,
Bedroom eyes.
a detail she herself pointed out to him
Really?
when he tried to compliment her appearance.
Wow. Okay, so there was definitely a spark there.
Oh yeah, an attraction that went beyond the typical student-teacher dynamic.
Right.
So the turning point comes when he misses a deadline for his final paper.
Oh,
She leaves a message at the department,
okay.
but instead of directing him to an office,
Yeah.
she gives him her home address
What?
and tells him to drop it off.
Wow, that's a bold move.
It is a bold move.
Especially considering,
Their roles.
yeah, their roles. Exactly.
But it also suggests
What?
that she's open to exploring the connection further.
Great.
So her home is this little canyon cottage
Oh, Canyon Cottage. Okay.
in the Hollywood Hills,
All right.
a setting that already evokes a sense of romantic possibility.
Yeah, I can see that.
So he goes to drop off the paper,
Okay.
but she's not there.
Oh.
So he leaves it
Mm-hmm.
and his number,
Oh.
and she calls him back,
She calls him back.
inviting him to drop by
Drop by.
if he's ever in the neighborhood again.
Oh, wow.
It's a subtle invitation,
It is.
but one that he clearly picks up on.
Right.
So they arrange a dinner date,
Okay.
and he describes her standing in the doorway, framed in amber light, as he arrives at her cottage.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It's very cinematic,
It is, yeah.
almost like a scene from a movie.
Right.
The setting for their dinner is equally evocative.
Okay.
This intimate candlelit restaurant
All right.
with hanging red lanterns
Oh, wow.
and waiters in embroidered silk shirts.
It sounds very romantic.
It's all very romantic, very LA.
Yeah.
But our protagonist,
Uh-huh.
being a self-proclaimed late bloomer,
Okay.
is struggling with the whole dating thing.
Right.
He's out of his depth.
Yeah.
Intimidated by this older woman.
Right.
The teacher-student dynamic.
Yeah.
And the pressure of a first date.
All of that.
So they go back to her cottage
Okay.
and listen to Steely Dan's Katie Lied.
Katie Lied. Interesting choice.
Interesting choice, right?
Yeah.
This album, whose cover features a giant looming insect.
Really?
The album's themes of deception and disillusionment
Mm-hmm.
seem to foreshadow the way the evening will unfold.
Right.
So he makes some halfway advances, which he describes as awkward, almost pathetic.
Oh, no.
It's clear he's feeling the sting of rejection
I bet.
as he drives home winding through the LA freeways.
Uh-huh.
He has this dark thought.
Oh, no.
He imagines swerving into one of the concrete pillars supporting the overpasses.
Oh, wow.
It's a powerful moment.
It is.
It speaks to the intensity of his emotions,
Right.
the way a missed connection can feel like a profound loss,
Yeah, especially at that age.
especially at that age. He
Mm.
doesn't go through with it,
Okay.
but the memory of that night clearly stays with him.
Right.
And here's where the story takes an unexpected turn.
Okay, what happens?
Decades later,
Decades later, wow.
they reconnect online,
Okay.
both married with families of their own.
Right.
He brings up that night, admitting that she broke his heart.
Broke his heart.
And her response is both validating and heartbreaking.
What did she say?
She says she was confused back then,
Okay.
but adds, "We could have had a good life."
Wow.
It changes everything, right? It does.
That acknowledgement that the connection was real, that
Yeah.
she felt it too.
Right.
Suddenly that misconnection, that what might have been,
Yeah.
takes on a whole new weight.
It makes you wonder about the paths not taken,
Right?
the lives we might have lived.
It does. Speaking of lives we might have lived,
Okay.
St. James Infirmary
St. James Infirmary, all right?
takes us back to the 60s,
Okay.
to this time of suburban cocktails,
Right.
teenage rebellion,
Great.
and unexpected ER visits.
Oh, boy. This sounds like a fun one.
This one is a wild ride.
Okay.
It starts with a party at the Meloan household.
Okay.
Stephen's parents are hosting a gathering for his father's business school colleagues.
Business school colleagues, all right, so like a faculty party.
Yeah, think Mad Men vibes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A full wet bar cocktails flowing freely.
I can picture it.
Meloan paints this vivid picture.
Uh-huh.
The clinking of ice in martini glasses.
Okay.
The forced laughter of faculty wives.
Vying for the attention of the young bartender.
Oh, wow.
But beneath the surface of this seemingly perfect suburban gathering,
Right.
there's this undercurrent of tension,
Okay.
especially between Stephen's parents.
Oh, no.
His mother, a former bohemian artist,
Okay.
is clearly out of her element,
Right.
nursing a gin and tonic
Okay.
while observing the partygoers
Uh-huh.
like an alien
Holy
anthropologist.
anthropologist. I love that.
And then there's this half-finished oil painting in the living room,
Okay.
a nude portrait of a woman,
Oh, wow.
which Stephen's father insists she cover up
Really?
because it's not appropriate
Not appropriate for the guests.
for the guest.
Okay.
It's such a telling detail.
It is.
It speaks to this clash between his mother's artistic sensibilities
All right.
and the more conservative expectations of suburban life.
Right.
And then, of course, you have the underage drinking.
Oh, no.
Stephen, still a teenager,
Uh-huh.
is being secretly supplied with sherry by the bartender,
Oh,
who happens to be the son of a neighbor.
of course.
And as the sherry flows,
Yeah.
things start to get a little out of control.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Stephen, emboldened by the alcohol,
Right.
decides to switch the music
Oh, no. From what to what?
from Sinatra to Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, wow. That's a bold move.
Quite a bold move for that crowd.
Yeah.
But to his surprise, no one seems to mind.
Really?
He even gets some unexpected attention from Joyce,
Joyce. Okay.
Professor Benson's young wife.
All right.
She's described as a bit of a free spirit,
Okay.
clearly enjoying the party a bit too much herself.
Right.
She's flirting with Stephen, even touches his leg at one point.
Wow.
But the real chaos unfolds
Oh, what happens?
when Stephen discovers his college-aged brother Mike,
Mike. Okay.
passed out in the bathroom,
Oh, jeez.
having, shall we say, overindulged.
Overindulged.
It's one of those scenes that's both hilarious
Yeah.
and a little bit cringeworthy.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
So when Stephen tries to get his mother's help, she's less than sympathetic,
Really?
clearly more interested in flirting with Bob Dickerson.
Bob Dickerson. Okay.
This former football star turned sports memorabilia entrepreneur.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's another telling moment about her dissatisfaction with her own
Mhm.
life,
Yeah.
her longing for something more exciting, more passionate.
More passionate. Exactly.
So they eventually get Mike cleaned up
Okay.
and into bed.
Right.
But the drama's not over yet.
Oh, no. What happens now?
As the party winds down,
Yeah.
Dickerson lingers.
Okay.
Clearly drawn to Stephen's mother,
Uh-huh.
he kisses her on the cheek as they say goodbye.
Okay.
And she, in Meloan's words, turns into it.
Turns into it.
It's a small gesture,
It is.
but it speaks volumes about her unspoken desires.
Right.
Her longing for something more
Yeah.
than her current life offers.
Right.
It's this hint of infidelity
Yeah.
that adds another layer of complexity
Right.
to the already strained relationship between Stephen.
Yeah, it's like all these unspoken desires and longings.
Yes, simmering beneath the surface.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, as if things couldn't get any more dramatic,
Oh, boy.
Mike wakes up and confronts their mother.
Oh.
He's angry, he's drunk, and he's clearly acting out.
Right.
He even stomps on a plastic trash can near the bar
What?
in a fit of defiance,
Oh, no.
which ends up backfiring quite literally.
Oh, no. How so?
He cuts his toe,
Oh, Jesus.
and not just a little nick.
Okay.
It's this deep gash that reveals tendons,
Oh, my gosh.
blood pooling across the floor.
Wow.
Talk about a party foul.
That's rough.
So suddenly the party atmosphere evaporates.
Yeah, I bet.
They rush Mike to the ER.
Oh, wow.
where he gets 10 stitches and narrowly avoids a blood transfusion.
Yes.
So they return home in the early hours of the morning,
Yeah.
exhausted and shaken.
Right.
Stephen's mother tucks Mike into bed,
Okay.
and in this rare moment of tenderness,
Yeah.
tells him she's glad he's okay.
Oh.
But the story doesn't end there.
Oh, no. What happens?
Stephen lies in bed, unable to sleep. He hears the faint strains of St. James Infirmary
Oh.
coming from the living room.
Really?
His mother's voice,
Yeah.
softly singing along.
Wow. That's powerful.
It's such a haunting image, isn't it?
It is.
It suggests that beneath the surface of their seemingly perfect suburban life,
Right.
there's this deep well of unspoken emotions,
Mm-hmm.
a longing for something more,
Yeah.
something real.
Right.
And it's a perfect example of how Meloan uses music
Yeah.
to evoke mood,
Right.
to create an atmosphere
Uh-huh.
that lingers long after the story's over.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
About those hidden complexities
Yeah.
lurking beneath the surface.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We've explored family dynamics,
Yeah.
the absurdity of technological fads,
Right.
the complexities of love and loss,
Yeah.
and the darker side of California.
all of that.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What are some of the key takeaways from Steven Meloan's work?
For me, it's that power of observation.
Yeah.
He really captures those little details
Mhm.
that reveal so much about people.
Yeah, he's also a master of setting the scene.
He is.
Whether it's a smoky jazz club or a sun-drenched beach, you can practically feel it, absolutely.
And the music, too.
Yes, the
And
music.
Every song choice feels so deliberate.
It does.
Like it's adding another layer of meaning.
Right, like a soundtrack to these characters' lives.
Exactly.
But what I find most compelling
Yeah.
is his willingness to leave things unresolved.
Right. He doesn't tie everything up neatly.
He doesn't.
He makes you think.
Yeah, he challenges you
Yeah.
to draw your own conclusions.
He trusts the reader
Yeah.
to figure things out for themselves.
So if you're looking for a collection of short stories that will stay with you,
Yeah.
I highly recommend checking out St. James Infirmary by Steven Meloan.
I second that.
You might just find yourself recognizing echoes of your own life
Yeah.
in these captivating tales.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe it'll even inspire you
Yeah.
to take a closer look at the world around you,
To find the extraordinary in the ordinary.
to embrace the messy, beautiful complexity of human experience.
Until our next deep dive.
Keep exploring
Keep questioning.
and keep those pages turning.